Good evening. We're going to go ahead and get started on our organizational meeting component. And so I wanted just to give a brief kind of text before we get started, just so everybody in the audience knows what's happening. So every year we have an organizational meeting that takes place for the board where they will elect leadership roles, president, vice president, clerk. Okay. And so as a secretary of the board, that's my role as superintendent. I started off only for the president component. Once the president is nominated and that's chosen, right, that position, then it gets handed over back to the president. And then from there, they carry on the rest of them. So I just wanted just to make sure everybody was clear about what was going on, because it's going to seem a little bit different than your regular meeting that you might attend. Okay, but thank you for everybody for being here tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the CJUSD organizational meeting of the Board of Trustees to order at 6:01 p.m. on December 17th, 2025. We have all trustees present. At this time, I'd like to welcome everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? We'll do. Again, the purpose of tonight's organizational meeting is to conduct all required annual organizational business, including the election of board officers, confirmation of meeting dates, and any additional items outlined in our agenda. And for this section of the meeting, was the organizational meeting is different from the regular meeting that we'll have right after this. Is there any public comment regarding any of the items on the organizational meeting agenda? Our first item is the election of officers. We'll begin with the position of board president. This is the person who steers the meeting and is working with the entire board. Their votes are still the same. It's more of being able to really have the role of building the agenda with the superintendent and doing that work. And so with that, I'm going to open it up. Do I have any nominations for president?
Yes. Okay. I would like to nominate Teresa.
Okay, so we have a nomination for Ms. Teresa Cisneros, trustee Cisneros.
And I would like to nominate Mr. Sam Ramirez.
Okay. And do we have either a second for either one?
Second for Teresa.
Okay, second for Teresa. Okay, so we'll go ahead and vote through that first, and then we'll go ahead and, unless there's any discussion. No. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do a roll call for the position of president. And so we'll go ahead and go in order. So I'm just going to go in order this way. Okay, and then we'll go that way. So trustee Robertson. This is for Teresa. Yeah. Aye. Okay, trustee Vega.
No.
Trustee Ramirez. Aye. Trustee De La Fuente. Aye. And trustee Cisneros.
Aye.
Okay, so with the motion of 4-1, Mrs. Cisneros retains the position of board president for the 26-27 school year, the year of 2026, really 25-26. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hand this off over to our board president, Cisneros.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I am honored to serve as a board president. I'd like to express my appreciation for the leadership that has been provided to me, and appreciate the next year that's coming, and we look forward to working together and making sure that we become successful as with our goals that we've established as a board for our community. Thank you. At this time, I will again continue to assume the role of board president and the remainder of this meeting, and we will continue with the following agenda items. Do I have a nomination for vice president?
I nominate Valerie.
Okay. Any other nominations? No? We'll do roll call. Okay. I do need a second.
A second.
Okay. So Valerie, Sam, okay. I'll do any discussion? Roll call. Sandra. Aye. Sam.
Aye.
Valerie.
Aye.
Patty.
Aye.
And I. Right. do I have a nomination for clerk? I nominate Sandra.
I second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Sandra?
Aye.
Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty?
Aye.
And I. And appointment of Superintendent Andrew Pacina as Secretary of the Board of Trustees. Do I have a motion?
You can take the motion just for one, yes.
So Betty was messing with me. Set up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and set dates and times in place for our regular board meetings, which will be held on the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month at 6 p.m. Do I have a motion to establish our schedule based on the calendar we set back in February of 2025?
Discussion?
Yes.
I would like to move our meetings to 5:30. We have a lot of staff members who live out of town. And just to make the accommodation instead of having them stay after school for so many hours to move it forward.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Sandra?
Aye.
Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty?
Aye.
And I. Based on that, we will go ahead and establish it, continue on second and fourth Wednesdays of the month, and we begin at 5:30 p.m. Okay, this brings us to the adjournment of the organizational meetings. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I move to adjourn. I second.
Roll call, Sandra?
Aye.
Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty?
Aye.
And I. Okay, this meeting is now adjourned at 6:07 p.m. Yes.
So we have a lag of about 8 minutes because we didn't know how long it was gonna take, 6:15. So it's up to the board whether you choose to wait until the 6:15, that would give us 8-minute break.
I would like to
We'd love to continue. Okay.
Yeah, no need.
Yeah, fine.
I think everyone that's gonna be here present is already present, so we will go ahead and continue. So we have established the quorum. Again, we welcome everybody to this meeting and a reminder that it is being webcast live and recorded. The recordings of the webcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meetings. At this time, I would like to remind everyone of the procedures for the public participation in tonight's meetings. Members of the public are encouraged to attend and address the board on any agenda item or topic within the board's jurisdiction. Public comments will be allowed a maximum of 5 minutes per speaker with a total of 20 minutes allocated for each item. Speaker request forms are available at the entrance of the boardroom and can be handed to Ms. Gonzalez prior to the public comment. Regarding complaints, if a concern is raised about an employee, the complainant will inform of the appropriate complaint procedures. The first step is for the complainant to submit the concern in writing to the district office, after which the district will begin the investigation process to address the issue fairly and promptly. Complaints involving child abuse or unlawful discrimination will be handled accordingly with specific legal protocols. Please note that any documents handed to the board during the meeting are subject to public records request in accordance with the California Public Records Act. The board prohibits retaliation against complainants, and all complainants will be investigated promptly and impartially. Please be respectful of the meeting process. Disruptive behavior will not be tolerated and will result in removal of the meeting. Thank you so much again for your cooperation. And we already moved that. And so I need a motion to approve the board meeting. Approve the December 17, 2025 regular board meeting agenda. Do I have a motion?
I motion to approve.
Any discussion? Roll call, Sandra?
Aye.
Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty?
Aye.
And presentations. The first interim report, Ms. Danielle Alvarez.
Good evening. I think we have the slides coming up shortly. So this is our first interim report for the 25-26 school year. And with our next next slide, we have just a overview of what the budget cycle looks like for a school district. This I did take from the School Services of California presentation that was at the School Board Association conference. So the start of the fiscal year happens in July, but there is a whole cycle that comes along with that. While we start the school year in July, we're actually closing out the books from the prior school year in September. And then we find ourselves at an interim report in December, which is right now. That interim report is showing the financials from the first of the year through October 31st, and then provides a projection through the end of the school year. In January, we see the governor's budget proposal for the upcoming school year in the 26-27 year. So we're already starting to talk about the next school year, and we haven't even hit the mid-year point, well, just barely hit the mid-year point of our current year. Following and circling all the way back through to unaudited actuals happening the following September. Next slide. So just a few budget highlights for this interim report. A few key points to notice is that the district does have sufficient reserves. Our required reserve percentage is 3% of 2.4 million or 2.04 million, which we do have, and that we project a positive certification, which means that the district will meet financial obligations for the current year and subsequent fiscal years, the two subsequent, and that all funds have a positive ending balance. Looking at our district enrollment, this is the number of students that we have enrolled in our school district. We can see that we are experiencing declining enrollment or fewer students from one year to the next year. The projections are the trend history there is actual enrollment from 21-22 through our current school year 25-26. And that is the total number of TK to 12th grade students as of the first Wednesday in October. Next slide. This slide shows us the difference between enrollment and average daily attendance. So the school district is funded on our average daily attendance, not at the number of students that are enrolled in the district. We have been seeing that declining enrollment and along with that, declining average daily attendance. The funded average daily attendance is a little bit of a calculation, not just our current year's average daily attendance, but it's a combination or an average of the 3 prior years. So we're seeing that actual average daily attendance in the gray column, the funded ADA in the blue, the darker blue, and those two are kind of getting closer and closer together as the years go on. For our current school year, the general fund revenue overview is that we have $65.8 million in revenue, most of which comes from the local control funding formula, about 75%, and then the remaining from state, federal, or other sources. Looking at our expenditures for the current school year, we have a total of 68.2 million expenditures projected, 69% of which are salary and benefits, 31% are non-labor related costs. And a key factor to look at when looking at that overview picture is that along with our expenditures are included in the expenditures are a lot of one-time sources or restricted grants. So if we were to remove those expenditures from the current budget, that actually brings it to an 80% of salary and benefit as compared to total other expenditures that will be ongoing. And another way of looking at our expenditures is looking at them by function or activity. So 78% of our expenditures are in instruction related or student related services. 12% is for maintenance and operations, 6% for administration, and 4% for other outgo or services like our COP and county office specialized services. Putting those together, total revenue coming into the district is 65.8, projected expenditures 68.2 million, showing a deficit spending in the current year of $2.4 million. Important to note that there's two elements to that, the unrestricted and restricted funding sources. So within our unrestricted, it's actually an increase of the fund balance of about 500,000, and on the restricted side, a decrease to fund balance of about 2.9 million. And looking at our multi-year projection, this is showing our current year, the 25-26 school year, and the two future out years, 26-7 and 27-28. So with this multi-year projection, we're looking at current year estimates and any large changes that we project from the current year and the next 2 years. Some of the key highlights in that is the main funding that we receive, the LCFF funding, any step and column changes, any benefits changes, and any reductions from one-time spending or grants. While the state has our COLA projected for 2.3% in the current year, 3.02% in the next year, and 3.42% in 27-28. That's the percentage that gets applied to the overall funding formula, not necessarily the increase in revenue that we receive. Because in our previous slide, we saw that the average daily attendance is going down, our funded attendance is down. So for us, we project about a 2.63 increase in the current year. If we had a one-time increase for TK funding, if we remove that, that's a 1.22% increase to funding for the current year, lower than the 2.3. In 26-7, similar calculation, while the state is funding 3.02% to COLA, 2.16 is the actual revenue increase that we receive estimated. And then 27-28, we were expecting to receive 2.86 increase to revenue as opposed to the 3.42%. And in this slide here, we just have a summary of our funds, all of the funds in the district. The previous slides were showing our summary of revenue and expenditures for the general fund, Fund 0100. Moving out, we see our student activities fund, adult education, preschool, cafeteria, deferred maintenance, developer fees. Overall, all funds healthy, nobody's projected to have a negative ending fund balance. And the general fund's projected balance of 33 million is comprised of 18 million for unrestricted and 14 million unrestricted. And that's all. Any questions?
Thank you.
Madam President, may I interject something real quick? Can you go back, Mr. Patterson, if you're able to go back to the slide, just and it's for everybody in the room. Go back one more. So, and thank you again to our budget team, because doing the interim report is a beast, right? There's a lot going into it. But one of the things that I appreciate about Mrs. Alvarez is her looking past just what the state requires and analyzing and seeing what's behind the story and the numbers, right? So in this slide, it's pretty profound because in the LCFF funding, and please correct me if I'm wrong in what your statements were, we have COLA up at the top that says like 2.3, 3.02, 3.42, which the state saying this is what COLA is. But when we see the actual funds coming in, it's actually less than COLA. So even though it is misleading in a lot of ways to that, when people see things like the COLA is going to be 3.02, but in reality in 26-27 projecting a 2.16 increase overall. So that there's almost a difference of potentially almost 1%, right, to that. And so that's something that, we definitely take into account when we're looking at the overall, finances. And I don't know if you want to say anything else to that.
Yes, that's correct. And that's just the revenue by itself. That doesn't take into account any other changes like step and column and other operational increases that will happen from year over year. So while we're projecting to get 2.16% in revenue, there's additional pressures on the budget and the expenditure side of it. So total net increase in available fund balance is lower than that.
Thank you for that. We have the middle school reports from Bentley.
Good evening, board members, district administrators, parents, and community members. Once again, my name is Brock Bailey Gonzalez, and I'm this year's John Muir Middle School ASB class president. Tonight, I'd like to share some great things that are happening on campus. Tonight, we'll start off with academics, where the second quarter ends this Friday, and students are working hard to finish their quarter strong. Last week, John Muir Middle School held the first of 2 winter sports rallies, with the rally recognizing all 4 of the John Muir Middle School soccer teams. In addition, there were awesome rally games such as Pizza Box Knockout and a great game of head, shoulders, knees and toes, and pom-poms. The sixth grade class came with strong school spirit and won another spirit competition. The John Muir Middle School theater program, led by Mr. Hodgson, gave 2 great performances of reindeer games last week at the Corcoran High School auditorium. Great job to all of our junior thespians. The John Muir Middle School band program worked together with Corcoran High School last week by hosting the Sound of Winter concert at Corcoran High School. Shout out to Mr. Gina and all of our band students. The John Muir Middle School wrestling team is now competing and had a tri-meet last week, followed by a dual meet yesterday. They continue to practice hard and are getting ready to host their annual invitational over break. The second half of the winter sports season has begun with basketball tryouts and practice this week. All 4 teams will practice hard over winter break in preparation for the SAL season that starts right after winter break. I'd like to conclude by wishing everyone a fantastic and safe winter break. See you in 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, high school, we have Ashley and JC, please. And Jade. Nice notice, thank you.
Good evening, Governing Board. We hope everyone enjoyed a wonderful Thanksgiving break, though we wish it was a little bit longer. We know we're now back on campus and students are buckling down for finals week, which is this week. To kick off the week, last week we hosted a holiday dress up week. Pajama Day had the most people to show up because Pajama Day is really comfy. And we'd also like to highlight some of the amazing performances that happened in our campus last week. And
Last week, our theater class, directed by Miss English, put on a production the first week of December called Hamlet's Frost. And it was a great showcase of students' talent and creativity, and it was a wonderful showcase that they did for us. And then, last week, 2 weeks ago, somewhere around there, our CHS band, along with JMMS band, also hosted its winter performance partnering with the middle school, to perform for the community. It was a wonderful night, a packed house, almost all of the seats were full, and it put on a wonderful show. We're incredibly proud of our students for their participation and dedication during finals week. With everything completed, we're excited for everyone to enjoy a much needed break, wishing all students, staff, and families across the district a happy and restful holidays. Thank you.
Mr. Casino, superintendent report.
Yes, good evening, Board President Cisneros, members of the board, community that's here and watching maybe online. First off, I just want to say we're almost at the end of the semester, so it's great. I want to congratulate our president, vice president, and clerk who will be serving those capacities for the next year. And I want to personally thank Mr. Ramirez for his leadership in the clerk role and also Ms. Robertson as well, and just really making this complete governance team. So very fortunate and proud to be a part of this team, and look forward to the next year and what's to come. I wanted to jump over to schools and ditto what our students have said. There's a lot of stuff, really great events going on right now. I took a step out after being in meetings all day today and talking to our John Muir teachers, some of them are here tonight, about the craft fair. And so I went over there and kids created stuff like this. It was an ornament that they had. And there were also items like engraved ornaments. There were making trees with yarn, and again, a lot of hot glue gun going on. But it was great. And so I want to thank our John Muir teachers and others that might have participated as well in that. It was a great event. And the one thing I learned being there is that the kids are making gifts for their families. And sometimes our families, that's all they have, right? And so it's a great opportunity. And there were a lot of kids. I don't know how many there were total, but I know that the cafeteria was packed. That's what I saw in the picture. So thank you so much. In addition to that, went to the Fremont holiday event today, but great organization. Parents really loved it. And as well, been kind of going through and trying to catch different events. Another shout out to one of our teachers, who's a coach, Miss Scott, over at Bret Hart. December 31st, I believe is the day, right? She was elected KC 24's Teacher of the Week. And so they came and they filmed her doing a STEM activity, and Corcoran and our own technology coach will be featured on Channel 24. So take a look out for it on December 31st. Okay, we're gonna try to ask them also for the link afterwards so we can share it out and brag, right? Because we want to be able to do that. So it's just awesome to see that, our teachers are being, celebrated in those ways. In addition to that, I want to thank all of our folks who are going to be working over the winter break. A lot of them are coaches because we have a lot of stuff going on with sports. And so we have staff that are going to be out there. We have coaches, students. And so it's great to have them there. And it's cold. It's cold outside, right? I was at the soccer game just before the meeting. And we had girls playing Exeter. And there was families out there, so it's good to see that happen. And that's something that the board had asked for. One of the priorities was to have that engagement. The last thing I'll say with winter and I'll end with this is that we have our winter hours coming up for this next 3 weeks. So we will be open to the public here in the office on Monday and Tuesday. And then the time between Christmas and New Year's, the office will be closed to the public. We'll have staff here. If it's really emergency, you can get a hold of us. We'll put a number out there and you can call. But that allows the staff also to get some work done that we can't get done during the regular school year. A lot of it's closing up of items that we need to get done for CBEDs, for data. And then our school offices will close on Friday at 2 p.m. Staff will still be there, but they're also getting all kinds of data and reports done that they can't during the regular school year. So other than that, I hope everybody has a great time with family, friends, whomever you spend and get joy from, fill your buckets with, that you'd have a happy holidays over the next 3 weeks. And I yield my time.
Thank you. Board of Trustees?
So I attended the conference as well, and a wealth of information was given to us. A couple of things I know I need to speak to you in regards to make sure that we're holding our part on some things that need to be done. Also, as soon as we returned, I was at the boys soccer tournament, the high school tournament. I got to watch them take first place and the game in PKs with our keepers scoring the final goal, which was awesome. And then I also attended the girls basketball tournament. They placed third. They did amazing. Our bands are so awesome. They're just like, I was impressed with the high school in making a cumbia Navidad, Feliz Navidad song. It was pretty awesome. And then our JMMS band, they did that song that comes out on Home Alone. It was perfection. So that was awesome. Then last night, I attended the high school wrestling, and it was pretty cool that they invited the middle school and the youth wrestling clubs to come and support them and watch them. And I like that extension that they bring in the youth, but I really want to see more of the middle school coming up because in all honesty, it's a program. We need to start kind of incorporating both and encouraging each other. And also for principals, if you guys have any events that you'd like us to attend, if you guys could just send me a calendar invite, not just the email, but a calendar invite so I could put it on my personal. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
I also attended the training in Sacramento and was very informational. Unfortunately, I think some of the classes were short and there was a lot of information that was given out. But it was very educational.
Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and ditto most of it. Specifically the trainings that we had, they were a lot of information, so we got little bits and bits. So I think we need to look into that a little bit more, specifically as it relates to the upcoming changes with Title VI and Title IX, and especially with the AI. Now that it's here, that I don't really understand it. I know the youth in the room know more about that, but it's a scary thing that they could use it for the wrong, right? So they want to be able to come up with a plan of how it's going to be utilized to enhance the education and then get better versus other kids, using it for the wrong. So that's really interesting to me. One of the other things that like Ms. Vega was saying, we came back to so much events happening in the community. It's so beautiful. I did attend the band and there was no place for me to sit. So I was lucky to find a little room. And when I walked out, there was a parents that came up to me and they have families in like Diamante, I believe is one of the bands that they went to Disneyland and played over there. And they honestly said they're my family members, but this band was a lot better. So I don't see why we cannot go there and be performing. I love it, right? Did I talk to your teacher? Okay. That's what I'll do. No, it's really, really kudos because it was beautiful. I was dancing, I was singing along, and even though there was no vocals to any of at least the John Muir one, I knew the words because of the music, the way it was played. So the soccer team, they're doing amazing. Wrestling, I've been seeing a lot of great things from them. So this is what makes our community great, that we have such great things happening and the families are involved, and just by the number of people that were present, it says a lot about us. So again, thank you. I know that some of the local groups, like the community groups, like specifically the Kiwanis, today they were at the Bret Hart giving little stockings, sandwich present, and providing stocking to the kids. So thank you so much for allowing us to do that every year. It's a pleasure. The kids sing songs to us, and it's always a joy. And so again, like Valerie, I'm going to be piggybacking on her. I do appreciate the invites. We want to be present as much as possible, so please continue on with that. And that is all I have. Anything else for anyone? No? Thank you. All right, Corcoran Faculty Association.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nicholas Brown, Corcoran Faculty Association Vice President. It's the end of 2025 and staff and students are excited about the upcoming and well-deserved 3-week vacation. Tonight, Corcoran Faculty Association would like to address our current status of negotiations with the board. On Thursday, December 11th, the district and CFA held a negotiating session where we reached a tentative agreement on several bargaining items. However, salary was not one of them. The final offer presented by the district was taken back to CFA membership to see how close we were to an agreement. Yesterday, CFA held a meeting and a straw poll where 88% of CFA members rejected the district's offer. The reasons that they cited were Hanford's raise and Mr. Pacina's raise, both of which were higher than the district's offer to CFA. Our district is not broke. Our district is not out of money or insolvent. Our district should be investing in the future of our students. Our district should be investing in the future of our teachers. And our district should be investing in the future of our city. The negotiating teams will be meeting again in January. Give our teachers a fair and competitive raise. The teachers of this district do an excellent job across the board, working with the children of this city. The teachers of this district deserve to feel appreciated and valued for their time and their hard work and their dedication to our students, to this district, and to the city. Corcoran Faculty Association would like to wish everyone here a restful and safe vacation, and we'll see you all in 2026. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. California School Employees Association. No. Action items, consent agenda. Public comment, is there any public comments regarding our agenda? Okay, thank you. Okay. Consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
Make a motion to approve.
Sandra. Okay, roll call. Sandra? Aye. Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty? Aye. And I. Teaching and learning, consider the approval of principal's request for early graduation. Mr. Fraser?
As he's coming up, what you can explain is the process, and I can explain that a little bit too, if that's possible. So we have a board policy for early graduation, but we hadn't had really a process in place on how to do that. So we worked on that, and that's the packet that you saw. Because it's a student information, we can't really comment on the student information part, but if there's any questions you have about the process part, we definitely can answer.
The recommendation is based on the student having successfully completed all required coursework and met all academic expectations for graduation. The student has earned the necessary credits, demonstrated proficiency in the required areas, and fulfilled all district and state graduation requirements. After the careful review of the student's academic record and progress, I believe the student is fully prepared to graduate early and transition to the next phase for their educational career pathway. This recommendation is made with the student's best interest and aligns with the district's guideline for early graduation. If the board would like more details about this individual, we'll have to provide them in a closed session. But he's done a good job. He transitioned from high school. Like I said, can't get too specific, but he did a good job. We pushed him and he accepted the pushing, and he's got to the point where he has earned all his credits, and we have put him in a position to be graduated. It's a good message that will be sent to the rest of the students as well. It is a incentive that is motivating a lot of students. But he is finished with all his credits and he has fulfilled everything.
Do I have a motion?
My motion to approve.
I second. Any discussion? Okay. Roll call, Sandra? Aye. Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty? Aye. And aye. Thank you, Mr. Bishop.
Thank you.
Consider the approval of the UC Merced Automatic Admissions Program Memorandum of Understanding, Dr. Vargas.
Okay, so this is an existing contract that we are upgrading with our partnership with UC Merced. They are actually lowering the GPA threshold to 3.0, which will hopefully give more of our students the opportunity for this automatic admission. Additionally, they have guaranteed to provide $12,000 in funding for any student who then does choose to pursue enrollment within their university. So overall, a win-win for our students and the ongoing collaboration with this university.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Any discussion? Roll call, Sandra? Aye. Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty? Aye. And aye. Consider the approval of the UC Merced Admissions Program Data Sharing Agreement. Again, Dr. Vargas?
So this is just an additional addendum that we agreed to share data between the two institutions so that they can identify the students who meet the criteria for enrollment.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
My motion to approve.
It's like ditto.
That is Patty.
Patty?
On second.
Any discussion? All right, Sandra, roll call. Aye. Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty? Aye. And aye. Personnel, consider the approval of the revised organizational chart. This is Rebecca Moreno.
Good evening. So the organizational chart is being presented tonight because it was updated and during the beginning of the school year, we made some staffing structure changes. So we wanted to make sure that the organizational chart accurately reflects the current structure, the reporting relationships, and operational needs of the organization. The recent changes in the staffing and departmental functions and leadership responsibilities necessitated the review and to maintain clarity and alignment and to be the effective communication across all teams. And so with that, we needed to make sure that it was also updated on the website as it is public knowledge. So thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
Question.
Go ahead.
So I noticed the new organizational chart shows the safety supervisor under the safety coordinators. Do you not think that would be setting some confusion to the staff by you changing the organizational chart without bringing those job descriptions that were out back in September to the board?
Probably have to defer to
Did
yeah.
you make the organizational chart? Or?
I made the update to the organizational chart, to the structure.
If you recall, we presented a couple months ago. As far as I'm concerned, there is not a change to the job description, but we talked about moving the safety department under educational services. So the organizational chart should not reflect the change according to the job description due to some of the absences that we had. We had to change the reporting structure in the interim. And currently that's the structure that was in place as the person transitions back into the role, but currently they are reporting to the principals due to the temporary absence.
But your organizational chart shows that they report to the safety supervisor, correct?
Yes, which is in alignment,
That safety.
which is in alignment with what their current job description says.
For that reason, I'm gonna make a motion to table that organizational chart until we get those job descriptions and everything aligned so that it does not confuse staff more.
I have another question. You said it was brought to our attention, it was discussed, so was there an action from us to do the realignment? Or did you guys do the realignment?
If you recall, there was a request to talk about it, and so I did a presentation that I can reshare with you all about the additional supports that we were providing to that department. So we did say that part of the recommendations was to do a needs analysis, and one of the things we would look into is revising those job descriptions. So there was no action at that time. It was just informational about the additional supports that we were providing that department.
Okay, but it was just stated that there was already a reorganizational done within the district right now, so it states to me. So I'm understanding that you guys did already this in-house without taking action from the board.
What this reflects, I'll interject, what this reflects is actually the conversation that we had that the safety component would actually go underneath ed services. Before it was underneath human resources, so that's where it moves. We didn't move anything else. And to Dr. Vargas's point about having the presentation that she gave to the board, we needed to look at the job description that was a request from the board, and we were going to bring that back. There's some things we can't necessarily talk about here because some personnel pieces, but that's where the lag in time has been. So it hasn't been that we've changed any job descriptions, anything of that nature. It's really more about just taking those roles and moving them from HR to underneath this as superintendent, what we had talked about. And that's what's been done. It's just to reflect that and then be able to post on the website to show that that's what the case is.
What you're saying, you're confusing staff, okay? These are staff that look at an organizational chart and say that I am under this position or this person. And then they go back to the job description and they are not under that person. So you're creating confusion, okay? The organizational chart, job duties should be almost exactly the same. Because if something happens, you're going to have staff saying, look at the organizational chart, and then you're going to have other staff saying, look at the job description. Okay, it creates confusion for the staff. So for that reason, again, I'm going to ask that we table that organizational chart until we get the clarity so that staff understand exactly who and where they report to.
All right, do I have a second? Do I need to take a second on the table?
I think it's discussion right now. So
Discussion, any further discussion? So now,
there are motions to table.
I make the motion to table the organizational chart until we get some clarity with the other job description.
have we have motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Great, roll call. Sandra? Aye. Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty?
Aye.
And I. All right, business, consider the approval of what is MGT for E-rate year 2026, 2027 for network firewall appliance implementation. Mr. Patterson?
Good evening. Last month, the board approved taking the firewall out to bid through the E-rate. That process is complete, and I'm just recommending that the approval of MGT is the winning bidder.
Motion approved.
All right, second? Second. Any discussion? Roll call. Sandra? Aye. Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty? Aye. And I. Consider the approval of the first intern, Ms. Alvarez.
Yes, the first interim report that we went over earlier tonight, this is the full packet, which is the state report of over 100 pages, but this is being presented for approval.
Do I have a motion?
I motion to approve.
I'll second. Roll call. Sandra? Aye. Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie? Aye. Patty?
Aye.
And I. Consider the approval of the first interim budget revision resolution number 1407, adopting budget revisions. Again, Ms. Alvarez.
The first interim report comes along with it, the changes to the budget, and the county office requires that we submit formal changes to those budget numbers. So presented is the resolution to approve those changes.
Do I have a motion?
I motion.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Okay, roll call. Sandra? Aye. Sammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty? Aye. And I. Consider the approval of the annual developer fee report, Ms. Alvarez.
Every year, we're required to bring a report of the developer fees that were collected and any expenditures that happened. So this is a report of actually the prior fiscal year, the 2024-25 school year. In that year, we started with a beginning balance of about $750,000. We received between both fees collected and interest close to $50,000, and only had an expenditure for our facility fee study of $5,000, coming to an ending balance of $797,000.
Can I have a motion to approve?
Make motion approved.
I'll second. Any discussion? Roll call, Sandra? Aye. Tammy?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
Patty? Aye. And I. All right, we do that administration. We have several of the board policies for the first reading. We have non-discrimination on employment, lactation accommodation, employee of relatives, employee notifications, sexual harassment, employee compensation, employee security, employee notification, temporary athletic team coaches, employee compensation, security leaves, employee notification, sexual harassment, employee compensation, employee security, and again, leaves. All right, future agenda items. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and identify closed session topics. The following topics have been identified for closed session: personal matters, student matters. Are there any public comments on the closed session items? Thank you. With that, then do I have a motion to adjourn to closed session? We'll go ahead and go to closed session at 6:46.